Good morning. This morning, it's a beautiful day outside. I hope that it just gets sunshiny for you. But I want to help you take where you're at and bridge over those troubled waters, as the song from way back in the 70s said, and get to the place where you desire to go to. This is our workshop type of program, and I'm going to be sharing with you some really neat tools that I have had over my life experiencing ministry, destiny, planning, all the different goal settings that we've talked about, but life living forward. And it's a process of a little tool that I want you to really understand. And I see this morning I got Christine and Judith already, Janet on the line. So we're going to kind of just take a minute, and I'm going to explain it before I go into it, because I don't want to lose anybody that's out there. And I welcome all of you this morning. Today, again, is our workshop. And our workshop is based on the ability really to give you the tools to take and actively live forward. And living forward is getting from where you're at to the destiny, the desires, the wants, everything that you've been called, planned, and designed to be. And I say that to you. So often, if you really think about it, you sense within yourself, maybe from time to time that you allow yourself to go there, that you're not where you know and believe you should be. Have you been there? That you might be in a good place, but you're not in a great place yet. You might be in a bad place, and you're not in a place that really you know inside yourself for so long that it kind of gnaws at you, that you're not where you're called to be. And today's little workshop and today's tools that I'm going to share with you, I believe is going to give you a visual of the ability and a tool to be able to bridge from where you're at over to the relationship of where you're supposed to be, want to be, and as I said, God has designed you to be in the destiny of your life. So, Pam and Judith and Angela and everybody who's online, I want you to get your pencils and papers. I hope that if you followed my instructions, I think it was on Friday that I said get yourself a manila folder. This is the biggest tool you'll ever get for free today. It's a bonus. Just a simple manila folder that opens up. And I know that you're going to see it in reverse, because that's what happens when you're doing a selfie, Facebook Live. So forgive me, but I'll explain what I'm going to show you. But every year, I do one of these, okay? Every year, I do these. During my planning stages, during my goal setting, and I really, really want you to be a part of what this tool has been in the effectiveness of helping not only myself, but hundreds of people that have been able to, after doing the goals and doing all the projections, to have something that you can snapshot awareness and consciousness of where you're at, where you're going, and what's stopping you in the middle. So let me show you this first, okay? I'm going to open up this, and I'm going to show you again. It's in reverse, but I'll read it to you. This basically, on this side, is the cliff of where you're at today, where you're currently at, where you see your spirit, your health, your wellness, your career, your family, your relationships. On this side, you will list all of the elements, reasons, causes, anything that are benchmarks of where am I at today? Where am I at in my spirit? I really fall short of believing by faith. Where am I in my physical? I'm 2 pounds over, I'm 5 pounds over, I'm 100 pounds over. You write down the current issues of your life, the major ones. You can do 20 of these, and I don't want you to do that. Just take the major issues in the major areas of the pillars of your life, in your relationship, in your career, in your health, your wellness. Right on this side, the relationship on this side of the cliff. This is the cliff that you have to cross over to get to where you want to get to. And once you've got that done, and take the time, hear me, take the time to do it right. Big ones, only big ones for this exercise. Where are you at today? What's the benchmarks today? Then come over here and write down on this cliff where you want to be, where you believe you should be, where you sense your destiny calls you. Let's say that you're supposed to be a writer. You're supposed to be a speaker. You're supposed to be a mom. You're supposed to be a wife, a husband. Write those things down that are your dreams and desires. Maybe you go grab your goal setting sheets and maybe write some of the big ones down. They parallel, okay? So if it's spirit, where were you supposed to be in the spirit? So over here you say, hey, I'm not doing my meditations, I'm not doing my journaling, I'm not going to tell anybody, but I'm going to write it down to myself and God, obviously, who's viewing all of this. And then where do you want to be? I want to be at peace in my spirit. I want to be at joy. I want to be all the things that I've been called to be in the scriptures possibly, and in your soul, in your heart, okay? So once you write this list, I'm going to repeat myself, of where you're at in the areas of your life listed. I'm going to show you mine, okay? This is my real one. I wrote all of the things that I benchmarked that I'm at, and I came over here and wrote my destiny of where I'm supposed to be. And then I drew this bridge. I want you to draw the bridge. I don't know if it's the best drawing, but it's okay. I'm not being paid to be an artist. But you draw this bridge. I made it the Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate from where I'm at today to where I'm headed to get to. Now look at this and understand something. In the waters, until the bridge is built, and I'm going to teach you today what that bridge is, there are sharks in the water. There are sharks in the water. How many can relate to that? Sharks in the water from where you're at today to where you want to get to. Impossibilities, fears, worries, lack of money, lack of talent, lack of all those things. Those are the sharks that are holding you captive, almost like that prison in San Francisco that holds you over here so that you don't even imagine escaping because you're going to be eaten up by the sharks. That's why we don't leave our relationship of where we're at. We just keep doing it over and over like the Groundhog Day movie, over and over. We're in the same place 5 years, 10 years later, or even farther back. And we never have the bridge that gets us over here to where we're called to be or to accomplish our goals. And this is March. And it's the right time to have this tool help you. Because when you're done, you're going to go to the back and you're going to say, okay, how far have I gotten over my bridge? But I want you to learn today, more than anything, more than this tool, is what it takes to get the bridge built. So, first of all, I'm going to repeat. This is a process that you're going to take and build. You're going to build where you're at today on the left side, your left side of your paper. You're going to come over here and write another cliff and write down where you want to be, where you desire to be, okay? You've got to answer those. The greatest question that you can answer is, what do you want? What do you want in your life? What do you desire in your life? You got to go down deep to find out it's just not an imagination. What is it in your heart that you've been called and God's fingerprint is right there and it gnaws on you that you're not here because you're over here and the sharks are holding you captive, okay? I want to get you captives free today. That's Isaiah 61. That's what this whole message is about. Set the captives free. Give them sight to be able to see over and beyond the sharks. That's Isaiah 61, a powerful, powerful scripture. It was the mission statement of Jesus. That's when he got up as a 12-year-old kid and said, now in your hearing, you've heard this, okay? And then he said it again later when he read the scrolls. You've heard this. It's been said that I've come to set the captives free. Well, how is that? That's what I'm going to share with you today, okay? So, you've got your homework at the moment. You've got the left side, of course, I said, is where are you today? You got to acknowledge that. And where do you want to be on the right side? And then all the issues, all the sharks, all the things that are gnawing and giving you fear and anxiety, put them down in between the two bridges. Put them down right down here. Write them all down, whatever they might be. Dig for this. Don't make this a 2-minute session. This is an important exercise that you should take a couple of hours and get serious. Get serious about making the bridge from where you're at to where you want to be, where you've been called to be, as I said, okay? So I've given you the review now twice, so if I sound like I'm repeating myself, I want to catch everybody. You know, Lisa's here and Sean is here. I want to be sure all of them are capturing this, and please take the time to review this today, this whole video. I'll put it up on YouTube at least at the end of today, if not by tomorrow morning, that you can review this. This is a golden nugget. This, if anything, is the one thing that helps me realign, reset, and keep building the bridge over my relationship of where I'm at to where I want to get to be, and over the top of the sharks. I don't want you to swim through the sharks. Maybe you can, but it's just too much pain. There's too much chance to try to swim over here. But I'm going to teach you today and share with you the principles of building the bridge between where you're at and where God wants you to be, as well as you want to be, because it's inside you. The desires of your heart, Psalms 37 says, God will fulfill. But if you don't know this, if you don't know where you're going, you're blind. And you're swimming through the sharks and never getting there, becoming discouraged, becoming disappointed, becoming fearful, becoming older, becoming anxiety rushes, and all those things. Stop! It's time to build the bridge from where you're at to where you belong, your destiny. Okay? So let's pause for a moment and realign everything else. Hopefully you've set a goal-setting session with yourself and set your goals for this year. Let's start there. Taking that, where that falls is way over on what side? Yes, it falls on the left side. Your goals are over here. Your desires and dreams are over here. No matter how impossible, no matter how many sharks are between your point of reference of today to tomorrow, you write them down, okay? Then you become honest and respectful to acknowledge where you're at today. No embarrassment, no guilt, no condemnation. The reality is that you just need to know where you're at so you can get to where you're going. Okay, then you've got to go a little bit deeper, where it almost hurts to go to witness in the darkness of the little kid who's underneath the covers because they're so scared they think there's a monster in the closet or there's somebody under their bed. And what does mommy do? Mommy goes and flips the light on. There's illumination, and she gives you that soft sharing of comfort and encouragement and trust and everything else, and you go off into a wonderful slumber. That's the illumination of acknowledgement that we're going to talk about in regards to, okay, I'm scared, I'm fearful, I'm not going to be able to make it, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too broke, I'm too many failures. That is going to be illuminated, and that voice of what really your destiny is all about is going to be the material in which we build our bridge over troubled waters. Okay? So, what is the bridge? What is the bridge? Well, it happens between this ear and this ear. It's the mindset. It's the renewed mind, the transformed, renewed mind that Romans 12:2 talks about, that if that's not taking place, you hang out here the rest of your life, and that's the bad news. That's the sad news. That's the news that's not going to be about you. The reality of this is the ear to ear. What am I thinking? I can't. Oh, there's a shark. I never have been able to. There's another shark. Everybody says I can't. Another shark. And you need to also acknowledge those sharks, because those sharks are absolutely vicious. If you've ever seen a National Geographic on the sharks and the aggressiveness and the way they tear and rip their prey up, that's the enemy. That's the devourer. That's the one that destroys, robs, steals, and kills and takes away your dreams, your hopes, and your desires. John 10:10. That relationship is real. It's really real. And it happens right here. It happens in your thought process. You've heard me talk about James Allen, who wrote the book. Very tiny. It's up on my little tiny bookshelf. But it's, as a man or woman thinks, it's what they become. Now, it's not a principle of his. He just simply took a proverb that represents that principle like gravity. If I jump off of this house, absolutely 100% of the time, gravity is going to take over, and I'm going to hit the ground as hard as 150 pounds can hit the ground. And it doesn't matter what my name is. It doesn't matter how many inspirations. It doesn't matter how wealthy I am. I'm going to hit the ground. What does that mean, Jeff? What does that mean to me? That the only way to overcome the sharks or the gravity that I'm talking about is to build the bridge. My son Joshua gave me the best example of this. He bought, now he's the creative one, he's the not creative one, he is the adventurous one. He's run with the bulls in Spain, he's on the horses in Italy. I mean, he's done some really very expansive adventures at this point if you know him. And he calls me up and he says, what do you think of this picture? And it shows this incredible wing, and it's a wing that's like a parachute, and he's strapped into it, and it is a process of that you run off the end of the cliff or the hill and you soar into the air. That is scary. That is scary, isn't it? Doesn't it even just scare you to think about that? Parachuting. My son John Emmanuel, he parachuted, and I'll never forget what he said about that situation. The fear and the anxiety. He actually had one of the people not want to go, kind of cancel out at the last minute. But the reality of what Emmanuel shared was this, that he got into the doorway, ready to jump out with the parachute, with the coach and behind him. And as soon as he jumped, not before, but as soon as he jumped, and left the security of the place that he was in, as he soared into the wind, he felt the lack of anxiety, he felt the rush of excitement, he felt the freedom of what he was never experiencing before, both emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And when he pulled the cord and the parachute opened up, it gave him such a rush because it was absolutely what he felt was right. He said, I felt freedom. There was nothing holding me any longer. Okay, what do those two elements talk about? Well, the reality is there's a great fear to go from where you're at to where you want to be. Everybody has that. It doesn't matter who you are and what your name is and what you've accomplished or not accomplished. There's a great fear. But in turn, to jump takes faith. It takes faith. And what Emmanuel said as he was getting ready to go out the door of the airplane, he kept saying to himself, I'm safe. God's got me in his hands. I'm going to get to the ground safely. And he kept reminding himself as those thoughts, those sharks, kept trying to keep him in the place he was at, trying to keep him in the place of the airplane, keep him in what was considered was safety, but to miss the opportunity to soar in the wind and on the parachute. That's faith. He continued to remind himself, renew his mind over and over again, not just once in the morning watching Jeffrey Paul on Inspiration, over and over again. One of the things I've taught my sons, and I've actually taught you too, the rubber band trick, the rubber band reminder. Every time I get a thought that isn't healthy, blessed, prosperous, call it whatever you want, think upon these things that are good, pleasing, and perfect. If it's not, immediately I hit it, because it's those little tiny thoughts that hold you in the airplane. And you never get out of the airplane to the other side, which is incredible. Now, back to Joshua, the wing. He's got to soar out and fly. That's why the Bible talks about soaring on wings of eagles. I'm going to show you a gift that one of my dear Janet, my cousin, gave me for my birthday. You see that eagle? You see this eagle here? This eagle represents the soaring of eagles that Isaiah talks about in Isaiah 40, verse 31. And the relationship to that is this, that you are made to soar. You are created to soar on wings of eagles. What does that mean, Jeff? I can't fly with the eagles. What does that mean in the real life activity of living life today forward? It means this, that as you begin to think upon the impossible is possible, when you begin to think upon the thoughts that give you the ability to see yourself already here, you're building your bridge to your destiny. And if you're thinking the things that are impossible, you're thinking the things that are holding you back, you're blaming everybody and everything, including the weather and the president and everybody else, you stay here captive. And the captives are to be set free. But freedom is not somebody giving you more money. Freedom is not somebody, taking you by the hand and leading you over there. It comes from you, within you. The constant thoughts. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I can, I did! And that's not just a little fairy tale that I tell my grandchildren when I read them the choo-choo train possibilities. The reality is, Mark 10:27 says, what's impossible by you is possible as you continue to allow the voice of God to remind you, to encourage you, to strengthen you, to counsel you, and to tell you who you are supposed to be. Are you ready for that? Well, I hope you're ready for that, because that's what you're called for. You're called in your destiny to get to the other side, to get to be all you can be. Well, you say, Jeff, I'm 50, I'm 40, I'm 65, I'm 75. Who cares? I gave you the lesson last week. It's never too late, but it is getting later. Later means that every day that you stay over here, you're not here. And if you try to swim hard in your own efforts, in your own strength, to get smarter, to get richer, to get, beautiful, to get all those things, they're just going to eat you up. The sharks will eat you up. You're going to get exhausted. You're going to run out of time, run out of money, run out of everything possible to get to the other side. Zechariah 4:6 says it's not by your strength. It's not by you swimming hard through the sharks. It's not by you doing all these other things on your own power and strength, but it's by the Spirit within you that is renewing your mind of the possibilities, of the realities of what's not seen, but you're believing for. That's faith, Hebrews 11:1. Now, people sometimes put too much misunderstanding into religious use of the Bible, versing the application of life that comes from the Bible, the applications of the principles, just like gravity. If you put them into practice, they will lead your life. And if you look at any success, and I have a library behind me that some of you have seen, of hundreds and probably thousands now of books and books on tapes, and I study these successes, I study these people's lives from hundreds and thousands even years ago, and the principles are very seldom anything but the same. Against all impossibilities, against all the sharks, they build a bridge, one thought at a time. One thought at a time. Headed to and seeing nonstop, not the sharks, but seeing their destiny, seeing their hopes, seeing their wants and desires being fulfilled. And that's why my friend Matthew Hyatt, when he wrote the book Living Forward that I've shared with you about, Matthew talked about first, and so did Steve Covey, and so did a lot of the people that have taught these principles that are like the principles that have been around for thousands of years. They're not a secret. They're just forgotten or not applied. But it's to go to your funeral, and hear and write the script of your life now between the dash from your birth to your death. What are they going to say about you? Write it. And what that is you're writing this. Successful, compassionate, loving guy, was successful in business, was successful in relationships. And that begins the bridge, because that is what you're viewing. What you're desiring, what you want at the end of your life, at the end of your journey, on the other side of the bridge, is what you need to keep focused on and keep your eyes just absolutely laser focused on, so that your mind will not go down here and think about the sharks, the blame, the reasons why you have stayed captive on this side for so long. And I tried, I got halfway through, but I had to go back and I got chewed up. Hey, put that aside and understand that the principle I'm sharing with you today, along with the tool that I've shown you over and over again, is a principle that works no matter if you're young or old, male or female. Doesn't matter where your walk in life is at, financially or intellectually or any other. Look at history of people that were not educated, didn't come from money, didn't look pretty, didn't have strength, and they accomplished great things. Why? This principle is what they were using. This principle. As you think, so it shall be. What your eyes set themselves on, so you shall see. And there's one final scripture I want to give you that is so kind of bookend of what we're talking about. It says in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, starting in verse 9 through 16, no eye has seen in the natural. No ear has heard in the natural. That means your own physical strength, intellectual, ego, all that stuff. No mind has perceived the impossible. But God has revealed it to those who have the mind of Christ, the mind of God, the mind of giving us the ability to see what is not at the moment, but will be. To see what is not at the moment, but will be. And each and every time that you use the renewing of your mind, you will take another step over the bridge and another step. Or if you really put it into practice and you keep snapping that reminder, you will end up like my son Joshua. You're going to jump off the cliff, or you're going to jump out of the airplane like Emmanuel, and you're going to have a great thrust at the moment of fear to get off of your safe point that you're so familiar with, and you're going to soar on wings of eagles, and you're going to get to the other side, and you're going to be safe, you're going to be happy, you're going to be joyful, you're going to be healthy, you're going to be beautiful inside and out. Isn't it worth taking the chance to start to think the thoughts that can take you from where you're at to where you belong? Isn't it time, now, the time, to take the steps and take the thoughts that are necessary to build a bridge over to your destiny? I say yes, and I hope you say yes as well. Listen, Lisa and Mary Jo that I see here is on. Yeah, I hope this just resonates with you guys, and I want you to share this with others, because I believe this tool will help others. But it's just a tool. Again, every year I do that, but all year long I keep measuring. Am I getting over the bridge? Am I getting over the bridge? And I want you to get over the bridge. I want you to get over the bridge, because at this moment, you have hopes. You wouldn't be watching Inspiration with me every morning if you didn't have hope. You've got a hope. But faith is believing in what I do not see, certain of what I hope for. That's Hebrews 11:1. And you've got to understand that you can have hope, you can have desire, but until you start to line up the thoughts like gravity, like the principles, take the thoughts of what's impossible and think them possible. Think through the process of every time that you have a negative connotation, a weak connotation, a fearful connotation, snap that rubber band and get back in line on the bridge over to that relationship, because there's nothing worse than hanging out with the sharks. I don't care about Shark Tank. That's a great TV program. But the sharks I'm talking about are John 10:10, robbers, thieves, destroyers of your life. No joke. They're there to destroy, kill, and devour your dreams and your desires and your joys. And only you, no one else, can build a bridge over. Others can coach you, others can encourage you, others can teach you, others can inspire you. But the empowerment that you have within you, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. That's where the power comes to achieve the ability of impossibility. And it doesn't matter who you are or what you are. The reality is, if one person has accomplished the impossible, all of us can, and you can. So here's my challenge to you today. Do what I've asked you to do. Make your chart, your tool, and right where you're at, then go where you want to go, and right where you're going on the other cliff. Put the shark's awareness of what's been holding you back, and then start today building the bridge and get ready to jump out of the airplane to soar on wings of eagles. And we are going to be together very soon over here having a party, enjoying abundant life, because abundant life is what it's all about. It was meant to be. It wasn't for just few. It's meant to be for you. So it's time. But don't hold this to yourself. Please share this. I've got some links over there too for you. As I said, review this video. This is not a common video. It's a workshop of workshops with my golden nugget of the tool that will help you bridge over troubled waters and impossibilities and lack and worry and fear. It will give you the bridge, and it starts all with Romans 12:2. Your transformation by the renewing of your mind, transforming you from where you're at to where you're going, to what you desire, to what you want. I'll meet you on the other side, and I'll see you Monday morning with another inspiration. But I hope to hear your comments of how you're walking and building the bridge one thought at a time, one faith belief step at a time, and seeing the other side unceasingly. Have a beautiful day. You're going to the other side. So enjoy the journey and jump. It's time for your life to turn around and really move forward. Have a beautiful day. I just look forward to seeing you Monday morning. I'm Jeffrey Paul, and I'll have an inspiration ready for you. Thumbs up. Thanks for the hearts. Love you. Have a great day.